I am standing outside the Shaftesbury Theatre here in the West End of London to go inside and watch one of my favourite West End shows for the final time, Anne Juliet. So come along. That is right, today is Tuesday the 14th of March 2023, and in about 10 days time this show will no longer be in the West End, and I'm very, very sad about this. I've seen the show, I want to say about 5 or 6 times now since it opened back in 2019 here in London. I was very kindly actually invited in 2019 to come and see a preview of it before it even opened to the public, and I do have a vlog of that as well. So the show means a lot to me. I fell in love with it. It's such a feel-good show. It's so much fun, and I'm genuinely gutted that it's closing, and because I can't actually make the final show at the end of next week, this will be my final time seeing it. You can see the crowds waiting outside on the way into the theatre. It is about 10 minutes past 7 p.m. at the moment, and the show should be starting within the next 20 minutes. Here as well, they've got a poster that says must end 25th of March, so in 11 days time. See it, baby, one last time, don't miss out. I'm really sad it's closing. But with that, I'm going to head inside the theatre. Like I said, we've only got about 10-15 minutes before the start of Act 1. I'm actually sitting in a box for the first time at the Shaftesbury Theatre, so I'm very much looking forward to it. So I've just come into the theatre now. This is my ticket, by the way, box G2. And we've got the cast list for the night. Miriam Teakley is on. We've got Cassidy Janson, of course, I absolutely love her. Oliver Tompsett. Nurse is Melinda Paris. I feel like for the most part this is a full cast. I don't really see any understudies, so should be exciting. This is a merch stand which we are going to have a look at very quickly now, but I'm going to show a bit more in the interval. So we've got a keyring, we've got some shot glasses, some pins. I might have to buy that one actually, the Anne Juliet pin. Of course we've got the CD, some buttons, quite a lot of things down here as well, and then you can see some of the outfits they've got as well. I just want to be. That t-shirt over there looks really cool with loads of different words, so that's another one that I might potentially get as a little souvenir. I feel like it's got some of the song titles from the show. Romeo Who. Right, yeah, a lot of new merch that I hadn't seen before, and of course we've got the programme as well, which I might have to get. I definitely already own a programme from this production, from Anne Juliet, but I don't know, I feel like for some reason I want to buy another one, just in case, because it is going away now forever. It might come back one day, but you know, the fact that it's no longer going to be in the West End, in this theatre specifically, kind of makes me want to buy one, but we'll have a think about it for after the show. There's a sign here that suggests there would have been a matinee this afternoon as well at 2:30. I'm of course at the evening 7:30 performance of the theatre, but let's head into my box. So I've been directed to come here, boxes E to H. It says go right. They told me to go right and up the stairs, right? So this is box E. We are in box G, and it's very well labelled, this theatre actually. Lord have mercy, I'm so excited. It's been a long time since I've sat in a box at the theatre. We've got box H, but that's not us. We are in box G, so let's head in. Oh my God, look at that, wow. Look at the auditorium here. You can see all the levels here, you can see the stalls. You can see the stage down there. This is going to be an exciting evening. So, I'm in the box. That's the stage with the Anne Juliet sign on there. I've actually been on that stage, you know, when I was invited kindly to come and check out the rehearsal of Anne Juliet. We got to go on stage and on the backstage tour as well of the show. It's pretty amazing, but this view is pretty cool as well. It's very unique. It's not going to be the best view, of course, because you do have to look down and it's at a slight angle as well. But I've seen the show enough times now that I wanted a bit of a difference, right? And I think it's going to be it. It's funny, so the first time I saw the show in full, my friend Rikai and I were sat on the front row in the stalls level. And then I think I came with my dad and we sat somewhere in the dress circle. Then I was in the stalls again. Then I was in the dress again. So I've been like in the dress and the stalls multiple times. Never in the grand circle though. So only in the top 2 bottom levels, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is definitely a new view. I do think my favourite thing about being in this box though is just the privacy. I do have somebody else here as well, so it's not fully just me, but it just overall feels a lot more private than being next to a bunch of people. And I feel like even though the pandemic, you know, we're not at the start of it anymore, it's still nice, right? Sometimes to feel a bit more safe. Anyway, the show should be starting in the next 5 or 10 minutes, so I'm going to love you and leave you and speak to you at the interval. Okay, so we're at the interval. You can see the Romeo sign on the stage. My God, what an incredible first act that was. This show never fails to put a massive smile on my face, and it's actually really cool being this high up and then you'll see the audience as well. Everyone's having a good time. Sometimes instead of watching the stage, I just look over the audience and I see everyone smiling, and for the majority of the audience it's probably their first time. Obviously this show does have a lot of dedicated fans, but at the end of the day a theatre is not going to be full without, you know, first time visitors as well. I love this show. The curtains just come down for the interval. I think it's going to be maybe a 15-20 minute interval. The current time is 9:15, not 10 p.m. I'm about an hour ahead because I'm on France time still. But this is the audience over here, this is the auditorium. I do want to quickly talk about some of the new cast members that I'm seeing for the first time tonight. So the role of Francois, I don't know his name, I'm going to get it later on, but it's my first time seeing him. I believe he was in the original cast, but he was understudying Francois, and now he's playing the lead. He is fantastic, he is so funny. He's put like a whole new breath of fresh air into the role, and I love it. The role is so funny anyway. Every single role, every single character in the show is just so funny, but really enjoyed the guy playing Francois. And then May as well, the character of May, again, I'm going to get their name later and talk about them properly and mention them, but I just wanted to mention right now that they are amazing. The role of May is played by a phenomenal actor, and I love their voice, I love everything they brought to the character. This is the third May I've seen, so I've seen quite a few and they've all been fantastic, but I think they may be my favourite, so I'm going to get their name later on as well. Hopefully I would have put them on the screen so you can see it as I'm speaking. And then of course we've got Cassidy Janson and Oliver Tompsett, both of whom I absolutely love and I've seen in so many shows over the years. Cassidy Janson is just amazing, and how can we not talk about Oliver Tompsett? He has brought so many new things to the role over the past few years of playing the role. I think this is the funniest I've ever seen him. He's still got the incredible voice, of course, but he's brought just so many new bits and bobs, like little ad-libs to the role that have just made the role of Shakespeare even funnier. And then of course Miriam in the role of Juliet. Again, every single time I've seen the show I've been lucky enough to see Miriam as the title role of Juliet, and every single time she's been amazing. However, tonight is the best I've seen her. Again, she's just added so many new things over the past few years, and she's just not only incredibly vocally, but also just like her performance is so funny, it's effortless, and the whole cast, honestly, the ensemble as well, they are a joy to watch. And like I said, I am going to mention the rest of the cast later on after the show once I've got my program and everything. But amazing, and I am just so happy to be here tonight. I do want to quickly show you this space as well in box G where I'm sitting. So they've got 3 chairs. You can see it kind of on the opposite side as well. It's the exact same layout. So yeah, you can have up to 3 people here. I think I paid about £70 for the box for my seat, which I think is absolutely worth it. Pretty good view, as you can see, of the stage, and it's just nice to have a bit of privacy. So I would definitely, sit here again in the future. It's quite spacious as well, so yeah, it's perfect for a vlogger. If you're a vlogger and if you just want privacy, a box is a good idea, at least here at the Shaftesbury Theatre. So yeah, there you go. I mean, obviously the show is closing, unfortunately, next week. I still am so sad about it. It is playing on Broadway, however, and I wish I could see it on Broadway. I'd be really curious to see how this pans out with an American accent and an American crowd and just an American sense of humour, because I do feel like parts of the script are quite British, like some of the jokes. I'm not sure, I mean, I feel like anyone could find it funny, but I don't know. I feel like obviously having watched it 5 or 6 times with a British audience mainly, I kind of know which parts of it make you laugh, and I don't know how some of the lines will be taken with an American audience. So let me know if you have seen this on Broadway. I would be very curious about the differences. But I think I'm just going to chill here now for the rest of the interval. I've got my water with me, I've got my bag with me, got my coat, and then yeah, can't wait for Act 2. I am probably going to get myself a program on the way out, and maybe a t-shirt as well. The curtain's gone back up. You can see the ushers selling ice cream over there. I think we probably have another 5 or so minutes now of the interval, but I am absolutely loving my evening tonight. So lucky to be here. Also, look at that chandelier behind the lights. You can see it up there. I'd never really paid attention to it. The chandelier at this theatre, never one that I've particularly thought highly of, but it does look quite cute, even though you can only see parts of it. It's so weird. In some ways, I feel like I've got an audience staring at me, like all these people. But there you go. Got the stage here. I will speak to you after the second act. just finished. I can't believe that was my last time seeing the show. I'm honestly gonna miss the show. I feel like a part of the West End is just gonna become a lot more dark without this show in the West End. So good. Well, the people are slowly but surely leaving the auditorium. I don't want to leave. I'm genuinely gutted, guys. I really am. This show is fantastic. If you get a chance to see it on Broadway or perhaps on tour, definitely do it. Like, also you can see all the confetti in the stalls area. I even caught a couple here in box G. It's been amazing. I am going to talk about the cast a little bit more later on. Look at all the confetti down there, literally crazy. But here's another pan of the theatre. Hopefully you can hear me, the music is quite loud. But there you go, you got the auditorium there behind me, pretty cool. And then of course the set and the stage of Anne Juliet, this fantastic feel-good show here in the West End for only another week. But I suppose it is time to take my jacket and my bag, Lord have mercy, a bit of Disney here in Anne Juliet's theatre, and say one last final goodbye. I can see people taking photos with the set. Yeah, one final goodbye to the Shaftesbury Theatre. I wonder what's going to be coming into this theatre after this closes, but it has been an absolute joy seeing the phenomenal Anne Juliet here. It's like the party never ends. It's about to end though. I think it is about to end. For reference, the time is about 12 minutes past 10 p.m. by the way. It's not a very long show this. Anyway, I feel like there's only a few people left now in the auditorium. There are still some people taking photos and some in the grand circle as well. But I am going to actually genuinely leave, even though, like I said, I don't particularly want to. I feel like it is unfortunately time to say goodbye. I really do wish I was here for the last show. I think it's on the 25th of March, the final show, but I'm going to be away. I'm going to be in Disney World, which is also exciting. Watch out for vlogs from that coming up. But goodbye, Anne Juliet. Let's go get a program. Well, I'm back at the merch stand in the foyer area, and I just purchased a couple of things. I got the t-shirt, the graffiti t-shirt, which was about £28. I got the program, and then I also got a fridge magnet. So hopefully you'll be seeing some photos of everything, because I don't want to show it to you now. Hopefully you'll be seeing photos on screen as I'm speaking about all three of the things that I purchased. We did have an understudy on, by the way. We had an understudy for Romeo, which I'm going to talk about after a little bit. Wow, quite cold outside. Anyway, Anne Juliet, what a phenomenal show, fantastic show. Still can't get over the fact that that was my last time seeing it. Hopefully I'll get to see it again one day in some form, somewhere. It's not going to be with this cast though, and this cast here, but she was amazing by the way. I'm going to have to get her name. She was fantastic. Cassidy Janson, of course, Miriam, phenomenal. Who else have we got here? Yes, the actor that played May, I really need to get their name because they were phenomenal. Really loved their characterization of the role, and of course Francois as well. Fantastic. I think that might be the stage door over there. I was wondering why those people just crowded. Probably is the stage door. I'm not going to be waiting for people to come out though. I just want to quickly talk about the cast. I think somebody may have just come out. I heard people shouting. Anyway, just in order of, I suppose, what they have on the cast list, I want to quickly go through the cast. So of course for the role of Juliet, we've got Miriam T. who I have seen in this role 5 times now, I believe, or maybe even 6, and she's been phenomenal every single time. There are teenage people just getting excited about the cast coming out. It's phenomenal. Yes, so Miriam T. fantastic, as I mentioned earlier in the show. I've seen her a number of times, and this was her best performance in my opinion. It was just so good to see her add so much to the character. I mean, she's been with the show for, I want to say, about 4 or 5 years now, and it didn't show because she still had so much excitement about it, and her voice is fantastic, and she was funny, and she just knows the role so well, and she is Juliet, and I love her in it. We've got, of course, Cassidy Janson in the role of Anne. I've seen Cassidy in so many shows over the years, and she is fantastic in this as well. It is such a joy seeing her in anything, to be honest, but she is phenomenal in this show. Beautiful voice, fantastic comic timing, just such a natural actress. Love her. We've got then Oliver Tompsett, of course, in the role of Shakespeare. Such an interesting role, and when you think about it, if you haven't seen the show, you'd be like, what the hell? Like, how can somebody just play Shakespeare, but in like a very funny way? Oliver Tompsett manages it, and he is so good. I mean, his voice again is just one of the most stunning male voices I've ever heard. I was very lucky to see Oliver in Wicked as Fiyero many years ago. I think it was back in 2007. Not even 2007. That's like what, 15, 16 years ago? Something like that. He was my very first Fiyero, and the original British Fiyero, I want to say. Fantastic. Again, I've seen him in a number of shows since, and he does such a great role and job in the role of Shakespeare. And again, I felt like he'd added quite a few new bits to the part since the last time I saw him, which was, I believe, was like I want to say March of last year, perhaps about a year ago. He's so good. I can't wait to see him in other shows in the future. And then the role of the nurse was played by Melinda Paris, and she was so good. So the role of the nurse has been changed a couple of times throughout the show's running time at the Shaftesbury Theatre. It was originally done by Melanie LaBarry, who is now doing it on Broadway, and she was phenomenal. But my God, Melinda Paris, amazing as well. Loved the performance. Her monologue in Act 2 was just so amazing. People started clapping and cheering her halfway through the monologue because she was that good. Really loved her. Lance was played by Nicholas Colicus. Again, he's really, really good. Love him. He's very funny. I enjoyed some of the touches that he'd put as well as the role of the dad, like, you know, father figure to Francois, which we're going to get to in a second. And then Romeo, we had an understudy for him, played by Carl Mann, who I'm pretty sure I've seen in a few different shows. So yeah, I feel like he might have understudied something else, and he might have been in Wicked, perhaps. Anyway, his face looked familiar, Carl Mann, and he did an amazing job as Romeo. He was so funny. His voice was really good, and I really enjoyed seeing him as, I suppose, a leading character. And yeah, I do wonder if it was his last show, perhaps, as an understudy, of course, or maybe he's on for another few days. I'm not sure, but I enjoyed his performance a lot. And then the role of May, there you go. May was played by Jo Foster. And Jo Foster, what a fantastic performer. Really loved their performance. I loved their voice. Some of the vocal gymnastics that they did in I'm Not to Go was just insane. Like, I'd never seen it performed that way or sung that way. I think they might be my favourite May, you know, and I've seen 3 different Mays over the course of this show running in the West End. Really good, and I also just really liked their performance. Like, I really believed it. They were very sweet, they were very just natural on stage. Really, really enjoyed it. And then Francois was played by Billy Nevers, who, as I mentioned, I believe he was in the cast of Anne Juliet in the original cast, and then left and then came back to play it full-time, Francois. So there you go, that's my little monologue of the leading cast, at least, at Anne Juliet. I wish I could name everybody else, but just know that everyone in that cast is fantastic. I mean, look, Carl Mann, he himself is an understudy, and normally he would be in the ensemble, so you can imagine everyone in the ensemble, including the swings, would be amazing, and they really are. They are a talented bunch. This show just is so full of energy. People are still waiting there, and it's very obvious that the cast enjoy being in the show, you know. I think so with some Western shows you can tell that for them it's a bit of a job only, whereas with this, the majority of the cast, the leading cast, have stayed with this production ever since it opened in 2019, so clearly they enjoy it, and any new performer who's come as well has become a part of the family, and they just look like they're having a good time and are happy to be here. So it's a sign of a strong, healthy company, and happy company in my opinion, including the creative. So that is fantastic as well. Ooh. I have just quickly moved here to show you this big poster of Anne Juliet as well, with the whole creative team as well. So of course, big shout out to Max Martin too. I was very lucky to meet Max Martin back in 2019 when I was invited to come here for a dress rehearsal. He seemed like such a lovely guy, and of course he's the man behind it all. He's the creative musician, the songwriter, I suppose, and he's written so many phenomenal songs for loads of pop artists around the world, from the Backstreet Boys to Celine Dion, Katy Perry. Just like his music list, the songs that he's written, amazes me. And it's so funny how brilliantly well it's worked for this show. Like, when you think about it on paper, it shouldn't work, but it just works so well. His songs work so well within a show about Romeo and Juliet. It's just, you have to see this show to believe how amazing it is. And this show does have a very, very huge dedicated fan base, and I feel like the fan base will continue, you know. I feel like it's going to get new fans throughout the years, and it's just a shame that this particular cast in this particular theatre is coming to an end. But I have spoken a lot. I need to go home. Like I said, I'm more or less the only person outside the theatre. There are still loads of people waiting at the stage door, but I'm the only person here, and it is getting cold. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever seen Anne Juliet, and if you haven't, you've still got about another week to come and see it. I think tickets are limited, but you might be able to find something. I would highly recommend it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and also I do have a lot more videos about Anne Juliet on my channel, so just search Anne Juliet and you should be able to see some of my older vlogs if you're interested, right? Thank you so much for watching though. I need to go. What an incredible night that was. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.